Welcome back, my friends, to the DerateTheHate.com podcast. I'm Wilt from Wilt'sWorld.com, and this is going to be episode 22 of our podcast. And today we're going to be talking about perception. Is it reality? Because a lot of people, outside of their own perception, don't really look for what's really reality. And their perception is their reality. But is it the real reality? So today, episode 22, perception, is it reality? And the reason I'm going to talk about this is I got a meme, or somebody sent me a meme the other day that really kind of hit home. And as a lot of people know, especially the people that have listened to this podcast and people who've known me for any amount of time, I believe that gratitude is almost everything. Gratitude and happiness are our responsibility. As an individual, it is up to us to make each and every day the day that we want it to be. And that begins and ends mostly with gratitude. And happiness is very much dependent on being grateful. And that meme that I was talking about is all part of that. Apparently it's a quote from Amy Weatherly, and I don't know who Amy Weatherly is. I'll probably look her up a little bit, and so can you. Put a little link to her in the show notes if I can find some information. But it says some people could be given an entire field of roses and only see the thorns, and others could be given a single weed and only see the wildflower within it. And so therefore perception is a component of gratitude, and gratitude is a key component of joy. And for most of that, I totally agree. One thing I would probably change if it was me, I would say gratitude is a key component of happiness. And I think joy, in my opinion, and I may be wrong on this, but I see joy as moments in time. Moments of joy bring us temporary happiness, but happiness is a state of mind. Happiness is an overall big picture concept, like the forest, and each tree within that forest is a moment of joy. So I love the concept. I love the meme. It's very, very insightful. But the reason that I bring it up is because perception for a lot of people is their reality. And why do I think that is so important? It's because if your perception is, like it says in the meme, if your perception is you look at an entire field of roses and see nothing but the thorns, you are going to be a miserable person. You're going to be a miserable person, and you're going to project that misery onto all those people around you. But if you are the type of person who can be given a weed and only focus on that small flower upon that weed, well, hey, that's a pretty big deal. That's a lot better perception, and therefore a lot better reality, therefore a lot more moments of joy, and therefore a much happier life. So, perception, is it reality? Again, the whole reason I bring this up, and one of the biggest things that I talk about in this podcast, is the concept of gratitude and being grateful for what we've got. And you cannot be a grateful person if you find the negative in everything that's out there. A big part of seeing nothing but the negative is all the time being told or being convinced that you're a victim. If you're constantly told that you're oppressed, if you're constantly told that you're a victim, if you're constantly bombarded with the fact that you're different, so things are always going to be bad for you, your perception of everything is going to be horrible. And in turn, your perception becomes your reality, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that if you are constantly told you're a victim, you're constantly going to see nothing but the bad, and therefore you're going to be an unhappy person. Those moments of joy are not going to be there. You're just constantly going to be in a miserable mood. You're not going to have those moments of joy, and therefore, in turn, you're not going to be a happy person because you just don't have that ability to be grateful. So perception is reality. What is your perception? I ask in each episode, what have you done today to make the world a better place? What have you done today to make your life a better life? Are you constantly going around convincing other people that they're oppressed? Or are you constantly going around trying to point out the good for people and trying to point out the things that are good and trying to accentuate those things in your life that are good instead of constantly focusing on the bad? If you're constantly focusing on the bad, you're going to have the inability to see the good. So that perception becomes your reality. Your reality becomes nothing but the bad. It's all about the bad. It's never any good. It's never that beautiful little flower on that one little weed. It's always the bombardment of thrones in that field full of roses. So this is not going to be a very long podcast tonight. That meme stood out to me this week. I liked it. I think it's very insightful. I think it's very important to look for the flower at the top of the weed. Look at the good things. Pick out the good things in your life and focus on those. Accentuate those, and that perception of those things in your life that are positive becomes your overall reality. If you focus on nothing but the negative, or if you constantly convince your kids or those around you that they're oppressed and they're dealing with some kind of systemic oppression that is going to keep them down all the time, that's all their perception of life is going to be. That's all they're going to see. They are going to seek out the oppressive things in life instead of accentuating the positives within their life, and they are going to constantly be miserable, and they are going to spread that misery to everybody around them. So accentuate the positive, accentuate the beautiful things in life, do what's right, and do it every day to make your life a better life, and you will see that your perception does become your reality, and your reality becomes much more or has many more moments of joy, and therefore you become a happier person, and that self-fulfilling prophecy builds a better life. So, again, the Derate the Hate podcast is all about bettering the world one attitude at a time. What are you going to do today to make your life a better life? What are you going to do today to make this world a better world? Accentuate the positive. Look for the beautiful things in life, and your life will become a better life. It will, and spreading that joy to other people becomes a self-fulfilling, or part of their self-fulfilling prophecy, and becoming a better life for them. So, this week's feel-good story. The D-Rate the 8 podcast has always got a feel-good story each week, something that a lot of people wouldn't see in the national news, but it's something that I came across in this past week, and it's something that stood out to me. This week's feel-good story is about a place called Vern's. Now, Vern's is it's a local restaurant. It's a little local business up in the mountains out in LaPorte, Colorado. And as most people know, right now our the western United States is being ravaged by wildfires in all kinds of places, and there's and then because of the pandemic and the response to the pandemic, all kinds of local businesses are being ravaged by that. And Vern's is, again, like I said, a local business, a local restaurant in LaPorte, Colorado. Up there in the mountains, just a little ways northwest of Fort Collins, Colorado, which I've got family that lives in Fort Collins. I've lived in Fort Collins for a small portion of my life. I love that area, but the Cameron Peak fire has displaced a lot of people, and there's a lot of evacuees and a lot of firefighters. And Vern's in LaPorte, Colorado, has taken it upon themselves, and they were feeding evacuees and firefighters that came in and doing it at no charge and just taking care of the people. And like I said, I always on the D-Rate the 8 podcast, I like to accentuate ordinary people doing extraordinary things, and this is one of those things. And with all the bad that's going on out there, this is probably something that you might not have heard anywhere else unless you're from LaPorte or maybe northern Colorado. But But Vern's Place, they're serving up meals for the evacuees from that Cameron Peak fire and the firefighters that are fighting it. So that's an awesome job. I just wanted to put that out there. It's a very good story. It's a feel-good story. I'll put some links to that in the show notes. And if you get to LaPorte, Colorado, anytime, go and support Vern's because they're gonna need it. Just like all local businesses everywhere need your support. So, Vern's Place in LaPorte, Colorado, awesome job. Big kudos to you guys. That's very cool, and keep it up. So, with that said, if you're listening to this podcast and you know of a local feel-good story, something that hit your local paper. I'm from small town America. Everybody's got a small town paper. If you see a small town paper story that stands out to you, and you can send that to me, hit me up on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. Send it to me as a link, and if I use that story, if I use that feel-good story in one of the Derate the Hate podcasts, I'm gonna send you a free gift. So. With that, I'm gonna wrap up this week's episode 22. Perception, is it reality? Perception is only reality if you make it your reality. You know what? Get out there, look for that beautiful flower in a bed of weeds, or don't let the thorns overtake you in a beautiful rose garden. It's kind of the gist of this episode. So, again, when you get out there amongst the people, be kind to one another, be grateful for everything that you've got, and remember, it's ultimately up to you as an individual. It's up to each of us to make each and every day the day that you want it to be. So, with that, I'm going to back on out of here. From all of us here at Wilkes World, I just want to say a very heartfelt thank you for all the support. Keep up listening, sharing the Derate the Hate podcast wherever you get a chance to share it, and we'll catch you next week.